Mark Waid is actually one of the best writers out there, period, bar none. He tells very emotional stories. And especially if he can get a done-in-one kind of book, like when he was on Crux for CrossGen, every one of those freaking books was like a punch in the gut. And those are the kinds of books that I like. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like Ethan Van Sciver's writing, is that he will give you those moments where he will take your emotions and just go, ugh. And that is the kind of thing you really want to get from a comic book. And that's something that a lot of writers fall down on the job, and they don't know how to make something, how to make either a tearjerker or one of those that just fills you with joy, or somebody who can play to your emotions really well, and Mark Waid can do that. EVS is just okay as a writer, not great. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him up in the luminaries. What I would put him up in is in the writers who are competent enough to be able to get at your emotions at times. I really feel like Ethan Van Sciver learned at the feet of Jeff Johns, because Jeff Johns does the same thing. He will give you, at least over the course of a series, he will give you a moment. He will give you an emotional moment that is like, oh my God, that made the book worth it. Like, for example, the first issue of Three Jokers, the Joker, or one of the three Jokers, is teasing Jason Todd about what Jason Todd said to him when he was basically begging for his life and getting beaten to death with a crowbar. And at one point, Jason Todd said to the Joker, I'll do anything you want. I'll be your Robin. And it was like, oh my God, that one moment in there, where I was like, okay, money well spent. Oh my God, just that one moment in there. And that's really all you need. I mean, that if you can land one moment like that in your comic, you will keep people coming back for more. That is what I feel about comics, and that is what you have to try to do in each of your issues. You have to at least hook in to the reader's emotions one time, and give that yank that says, come back. You want more of this. Because what people really want in good movies and good entertainment is to go on an emotional ride. If you can take them along on that emotional ride, then you will keep them coming back. In Cyberfrog Bloodhoney, you wouldn't think that this is a moment worth remembering, but it really is. There's a moment where Salamandroid is introducing himself to Chelsin, and he asks, "Are you my mother?" And she says, "Yes." And he says, "I love you." And she says, "Salamandroid, there is you and there is my heart, and I do not know the difference between them." Something like that. And it's such a beautiful moment of pure mother to child, child to mother love. That it's like you see the fact that he's able to give you that, and you wonder, what more can I get? And it turns out in Wrecked Planet, you can get a moment of horror, which is what I felt was the big draw there. There's a particular scene in Wrecked Planet where Cyberfrog's like, he's freaking out because he's thinking the Vespas are on their way and he can't see them. He says, "I need to get above the trees." He hops up, and there's a full-on splash page where all of a sudden he is surrounded by the Vespas, and one of them looks at them and says, "Murderer." And you're like, oh crap. And it's that moment there that it's like, okay, I will come back for the next issue. And if you can do that time after time after time, then you will have a fan base. That's what it takes. Being able to take the reader's emotions at some point and really grabbing them to the point where they're like, okay, I'll come back next time.